So what I would do is I would just create a blanket fort surrounding my TV, and I would just sit in my little fort just waiting at I think 1 o'clock in the morning waiting for Inuyasha to come on. So,
That's funny you say blanket. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anime Summit Podcast. It's your favorite host of the most, Som the Bomb! And with me every week is Danny Hootenanny.
Woo woo! Kagome!
Inuyasha!
Inuyasha!
That's good, that's good. Oh man. And today Nick is not with us because he had to catch up on some things and he was busy.
The IRS got him.
The IRS got him. It's tax week. It's tax day. It's actually today. Today's tax day, isn't it? Or is that yesterday?
Yeah, Tuesday, I believe.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I did my taxes in January, so.
I did mine like a couple weeks ago, and I got them real quick. But anyway, just paid bills with it. Anyway, life sucks. So, but yeah, no. Basically we have to send Honey Bear with a check to go bail him out at some point. But We'll just leave him in there for a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Let him cool off.
Let him cool off.
Let him sit on a bucket. You know.
Dude, no one will mess with him in jail. It's fine. It's just jail. It's not like prison, right? It's just a holding cell. So the worst that could be in there is somebody who's drunk and passed out. So, hopefully Nick won't have to fight nobody. That being said, we'll send Honey Bear with a check later. Danny, you got that covered, right? Okay, great. Moving on. But yeah, dude, today we wanted to do our first creator spotlight. We've been talking about doing director spotlights, creator spotlights for a while now. And we could sort it by mangaka spotlight, director spotlight, animator spotlight. And I think, in future versions we'll do that maybe, but for now, this is mostly about the mangaka Rumiko Takahashi, probably one of me and Danny's favorite mangakas and creators.
The wealthiest mangaka probably in the entire world.
Probably. Her career is her resume is just.
It's a lot.
It's big, it's big enough, you know what I mean? So, plus we just love it. And so I want to say this too. I kind of messed up and thought that one topic was this week and not next week. So I didn't get to catch up on Urusei Yatsura, and things like that. But, in preparation for this, I tried to I started reading Ranma and a Half because I always wanted to I wanted to rewatch that because I watched a lot of it as a kid, not all of it, obviously. But I watched, quite a bit of it as a kid, and then I never finished it, right? So I was like, yeah, and I was like, you know what? I want to.
The OP.
The OP's so good. It's cute. I was like, you know what? I really want to. I can read this. I'll just read the manga. But anyways, how much me and Danny just love. First of all, how much. That's probably one of the first things that Danny and I bonded over was Inuyasha.
Yeah.
That's it's the perfect fantasy romance that it's like a good combo of fantasy and romance and comedy.
It's the whole package.
There's paranormal
fantasy,
action.
There's romance. There's some action scenes.
Mystical action, fantasy action, paranormal action. Ghosts and spirits and gods and demons.
Yeah.
And I just love it, dude. But anyway. So we thought this would be perfect. Let's start with this creator because me and Danny know quite a bit about it, and Nick knew quite a bit, albeit he's not here for today because of whatever. But she's she's pretty known, even if you haven't consumed any of her stuff.
She's just. I mean, we could talk about it. Like,
yeah,
let's just get through like our intro. And
yeah,
then
let's do the deed. Let's do the deed. Yeah. First of all, let me tell you about this right quick. And then go to links.animesummit.net. That's where you can find all of the links to follow, subscribe, send Honey Bear some money, that kind of good stuff. Patreon.com/AnimeSummit. Become a patron today. Give a Honey Bear more freckles on her nose because she doesn't have enough. And she's a fat cat. She's fat. She's a little fatty. Shout out to new patron Ty. Whoop whoop. Shout out Ty. Thank you for becoming a patron. I really appreciate it. And then Danny's got a few things, and then I got a few things, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, what do you got?
First of all, shout out to me for doing my very first radio hour last week. I hope you guys enjoyed my picks and everything like that. It was a lot of fun doing that. And King and I are starting a new cinematography extra series called The Brat Pack. And we picked about maybe like 10 or 11 movies from the 80s that consist of the Brat Pack cast. And we just recorded our first episode, and that will either be out you know what? It'll be out next week. I was planning on doing it this week, but I got busy and I haven't had the chance to edit the episode together. So it'll come out next week.
For sure.
So, yeah, I had a lot of fun with this with King, and I think this series is going to be a lot of fun. So, and Sam, we need you on very soon for that too.
Oh yeah, because I'm not watching all of them. I'm only watching a couple.
Yeah.
But also, I just want to say that we should have King on more cinematography episodes in general, because he's literally going to watch movies like every week. But that being said, too, I think we'll probably people have said like, "Oh, are you guys gonna do Mario?" Yeah, we will. I just have me and Nick, or no, I have not had a chance to go and watch it yet. So, I will go and watch that very soon. And then me, Nick, and Danny will do a cinematography episode as well on Mario.
Yeah.
So, actually, I don't know if that's going to be a main episode thing or an EX episode thing, but it could very well be a main show thing, but we'll see. But that being said, yeah, that radio hour was cool, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was a good radio hour.
I had a lot of fun, and I really thought really hard about the songs that I wanted to pick. So, I think I picked some good ones.
Yeah. Definitely some good ones. Also, Danny, by the time you are listening to this, it's Friday, right? Yeah, so by the time you listen to this, Danny should have put out a tweet, or maybe in a couple hours she will. I don't know if right away in the morning, but like Danny will have put out a tweet or an announcement in the Discord or an announcement on the Discord of a Google Doc you can access to do for another Shark Tank episode, because we're doing another Shark Tank ep.
Mm-hmm.
And this time we are pitching isekais. So go in that Google Doc, put in your name, and please put it, and don't put a troll name like fartfart69 5000.
Yeah, if you're on Discord, put your Discord name.
If you're on Twitter, put your Twitter handle if you want.
Or if you want to be, if you're okay with putting your real name, you don't have to put your last name, just put your first name and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yes.
Definitely, like, whichever tag handle you have on, again, like, Discord, if you're on Discord, if you're on our server Discord, or on Twitter and stuff like that. So, just so we know who you are and everything.
Also, too, I mean, if you want to just put anonymous, you can. That's fine, too, and we won't say your name. But, like, pitch us an isekai anime show, or an isekai for a manga or an anime, and then we'll do the Shark Tank thing. You've listened to our Shark Tank episodes before. We've done a horror one. We've done a regular one, and we wanted to do another one with just isekais because it's really fun. So, and, so yeah, do that. and we'll do them on the show. And then we have another show swap coming up. You know what that means. So if you want to watch those shows with us, that episode's coming out a month from now or so. I think
June 2nd.
Okay,
is
so beginning
the
of
episode released.
So not end of May, but beginning. Oh, so we're recording it end of May, but it's coming out beginning of June. Okay, yeah. So you have until the beginning of June to watch Nana from 2006, and then Sakura Taisen from 2000. Nana
Sakura Wars.
Sakura Wars.
Call it.
Yeah. Do Sakura. Say it. Type in Sakura Wars, because that'll be probably how it is, like on wherever you watch it. On Mal, it's listed as Sakura Taisen and Sakura Wars TV. You don't have to watch the OVA that came before it. You could just watch this. But it's 25 episodes, Sakura Wars is, and then Nana is 47 episodes. Okay, and you can watch that on Netflix and Crunchyroll, and then Sakura Wars is on High Dive. So make sure you peep game, okay? And then, so if you want to watch those two,
I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
I'm really excited too, and I'm gonna try and rewatch both of them if I can. But I'm gonna start Nana this week, so because I haven't seen Sakura Taisen in a long time. So it's one of the few anime based on a game that I enjoy, and I just happen to like the not only just the mecha aspect of it, but like the review girls and review theater aspect of it as well. But anyway, we'll talk about that more when the time comes, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah. Question of the week, Danny, since Nick is not here.
I know, the knock's not here.
You're not here to knock it around, yeah.
So our question is from Hunter Tane, and they ask, are there two characters from different anime that you'd ship together?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is tough.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Shit. Dude, I would actually... I'm
trying to think.
That's really tough, actually, yeah. Just because we're talking about, like, you know, mangaka that have been around for a while, I honestly think that like Bulma from Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball would absolutely fall in love with Sesshomaru and like put him in his place.
Oh my god.
He's so fucking funny, dude. And he'd listen because he's stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, I actually am turned on by this dominant figure. That or like, I don't know, or freaking, I kind of feel like, I mean, like, I don't know, God, that'd be so funny, dude.
I'd put Ayame from Fruits Basket and ship him with Howl from Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh God. That is just, you got me.
I like that. That's just honestly just pure chaos. Like, both of them are pretty like flamboyant boys, and but also Howl is pretty melodramatic. So I don't know how Howl would handle Ayame. But I can totally see like Ayame dressing, like making clothes for Hal to wear.
Yeah.
So
I love that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
My mind immediately went to the horny, but like, yeah.
Horny.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. Oh, man. All right. Good question. Good question. Good answer. All right, Danny, what do you got for a waifu and his bando?
Okay, waifu is Sango from Inuyasha.
Of course.
I just had to. Like, Sango is like the obvious choice.
What are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? So,
right? Yeah, right? I mean, like, you know, I could have put Kikyo, but, you know, fuck Kikyo and stuff.
Boo.
Kagome is a hard second, but I think Sango's best girl. So
Yeah, Sango is. God, she's so badass. Like,
yeah,
she's so
yeah.
fucking cool, dude. Um,
And husbando is Ranma Saotome from Ranma Half.
yeah.
So, and actually, Ranma could also be waifu too because he turns into a girl in cold water. So
Nice.
he could be waifu as well, but you know, yep. Those are our waifu and husbando for this week.
Speaking of Inuyasha, and me and Danny have not caught up with Yashihime, so we won't be
never ending. Like I swear,
Yeah.
we're gonna do this review. Just never does.
And we have like spring first impressions coming up too, by the way. So it's like, oh. But yeah, at some point I do want to like I'm just gonna like I might just like ask for a day off from work and just be like I'm gonna bonge this right now.
Bonge.
I'm gonna banjo this right now.
Banjo Kazooie.
I'm gonna banjo kazooie this right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, Haterade. If I know there are people who are on Haterade, but Toa Higurashi is like, I love her character design. She's so cute and badass.
Is that the girl with the ponytail?
The white hair.
Is that? Oh, okay.
And then she got adopted by Kagome's brother.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I forgot literally all the names.
Moroha is the little Inuyasha chick, fiery, yell at everybody.
Yeah.
And then there's Setsuna, who's Sango and Moroku's daughter, she's fucking badass too. But anyway, let's get started.
Yeah.
Rumiko Takahashi was born in Niigata, Japan. She didn't have too much interest in her childhood in manga until like later when she learned to read. She could like then she started, reading more of it, and in an interview in 2000, Takahashi said that she always had wanted to become a professional comic author since she was a child. And I think also like her dad was like an artist and he often drew her.
Well, her dad was a small-time physician.
Not by profession, but
and what he would do is he would draw kappas for his like child patients, and Rumiko said that like they were super simple, like they weren't like super detailed. She even said that it was like an illustration that was practically just one big stroke, like it was just one, like he would just like touch the paper and just like never lift the pen up or pencil.
Yeah, it was like one of those easy one stroke doodles.
Yeah. So.
And she ended up going to like, I think later when she became for real, she ended up going to school for it, or she went to university.
She went to Tokyo University. I don't know what she was going for, but in college, I mean, she pretty much constantly, like throughout elementary school, she was constantly reading and like, just doing doodles and stuff like that. She was reading so much manga. And she got like a lot of inspiration from, legends and stuff. And she even read Garu, I believe, which was like not something that a child should have been reading.
Yeah, right.
So, but once she was like in high school and everything, she, joined manga clubs, like was just hanging around people who kind of like enjoyed manga too. But she didn't really it was just so hard for her to try and become like professionally a mangaka, and she would apply, or like she would like submit her works to like the New Artist Awards, but never like won any of them or anything like that. And then that's when like during, I think it was her first year in college, when she really got noticed and started to publish manga and stuff. And that's kind of where like Urusei Yatsura came into play and stuff like that. So
yeah, there was a point too where she enrolled in like a school for mangaka, a manga school, and it was founded by Kazuo Koike, who was a manga writer for Crying Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then under his guidance, she published her first doujins, Bye Bye Road and Star of Feudal Dust, which I think are in the short story things. But yeah, then like she began her first serious story, like you just said, in Weekly Shonen Sunday, which is Urusei Yatsura. Which, you know, me and Danny fucking love. We love Urusei Yatsura. We love the remake too, by the way. Yeah. And before we did first impressions on that season, by the way, when it started, Urusei Yatsura, so last season, a couple seasons ago, I had read the first like 5 or 10, 5, 6, 7, maybe like 7 chapters of Urusei Yatsura, and seeing her art the way she did it back then versus how she does it now, like in Mao, which is her current manga, is so cool. It's so cool to see.
She definitely flip-flops between like, so she did Urusei Yatsura in the 80s, or 19 she debuted in 1978 with Urusei Yatsura. And then once she was done with Urusei Yatsura, she went to she started Mason Ikoku, which was a pretty seinen manga.
Well, she started doing Mason during Urusei Yatsura.
Yeah, it was a little bit
but Mason Ikoku went to Big Comic Spirits.
Yeah, because someone from Weekly Sunday, one of the editors, I read this in like an interview thing that she did. One of the editors that she was working with was leaving Weekly Sunday and said to her, "Hey, like I'm doing this for seinen. Do you want to like do a story?" And she like quickly jotted down a story, showed it to them, and they're all like, "Yes, let's do this." And that's kind of how. And then after that, she did Mermaid Saga, which was, I think, a little bit a serious story. And then she did Ranma Half, which was like another comedy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she kind of like has these spurs where she wants to do comedy and slice of life stuff, and then she wants to do like these serious things, and then she goes back to her comedies, and then she goes back to her serious stuff, because after Ranma Half she did Inuyasha, which was like a little bit more serious. I mean, it had like I don't know if it had like, I think honestly the only comedy that was in there was like Miroku and whenever Kagome said "sit boy."
Inuyasha was very shoujo shonen. It was very like the whole package, which I think is her niche. Honestly, I think that like where she can write just a wild story, because she's very story driven.
Yes,
it's very much just like it's almost like the genre. She didn't care about the genre as much as you know. At least nowadays, like she didn't care as much as about the genre as she did previously, right? Because like when you're first starting out as a manga guy, I imagine it's like, okay, well, what kind of story do I want to do?
Right.
Whereas when Inuyasha came around, she was just like, you know what, I just want to do this.
Yeah.
But
and then when she was done with Inuyasha, she did Rinne, which again is more of a comedy type of story, and now she's currently working on Mao, which is again another like serious drama driven story. I haven't read that one yet. I really want to because it looks really good.
This one is like another isekai back to the past, like Inuyasha was.
Yeah.
It's like this girl and she meets Mao, and Mao is this
Mao
deadly
looks
long
hot.
sword wielder. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's kind of hot. He's got this scar on his face. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, this is the thing too, is like there's something to be said about she's got these two things called Rumik Theater and Rumik World, where it's like a bunch of her stories and stuff.
Yeah, she did do like a couple short stories.
Yeah, which are also in Shogakukan's magazines, but they weren't in Weekly Shonen Sunday or Big Comic Spirits. But like Weekly Shonen Sunday, she also did one in Weekly Young Sunday, 1 Pound Gospel, which I'd never heard of until recently. But there's something to be said about a mangaka that just stays with the magazine. Like,
yeah,
you know, that's pretty cool. I think most mangakas do that, but I mean, to do it as long as she did it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, she's still, you know, I think even Akira Toriyama, you know, still does for Shonen Jump and what have you. But again, like she's been working for 50 some years.
She's been doing this for like 40 years.
Published for 40 and doing it for 50, I think is what one of the videos
like,
said that we watched. Yeah. Which is amazing, you know. But I think like that too, speaking of which, like Urusei Yatsura is like it's got to be one of the first kind of things, like the romantic comedy that really like walked so rom-coms in the future could run, kind of thing, you know what I mean? Which is funny because like the big anime trope in romance anime now or rom-coms now is like, oh my god, just kiss each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's like it's completely different. Like that's all she wanted to do was kiss him.
Yeah, it's like silly and like there's like there's like, you know, the main character Ataru, he's like a ladies' man. Someone asked Rumiko, what type of woman does Ataru like? And she goes, any type of woman.
Yeah. That's me. I like my women like I like my women.
So I chuckled at that a little bit. So
yeah. The only reason why he just avoids Lum is because she's clingy, and he's like, God damn it, dude, like,
darling.
Yeah, so cute.
The thing that I really admire about Rumiko though is that it seems to me that she, throughout her career, she always found a balance to doing her manga and doing, you know, her own life and stuff. A lot of interviews that I have read, you know, especially when she was working on Urusei Yatsura and Moisen Ikaku, was the editors, like the magazines that she was releasing all her chapters for, they never really like bugged her about like, hey, you should stop doing school and focus on your manga. Like they're all like, do a chapter whenever you can, you know, it's fine, it's cool and stuff. So I feel like she never felt stressed out to like, I have to get this done, because I mean, we all know how much stress a lot of mangaka artists have. So the fact that she kind of found a balance for all these years is pretty inspiring, at least in my opinion. So Sam, I don't know if you read that article about like her schedule.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
I did. Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
There's a video I watched. There's this YouTube channel that's like, oh, I forget the name of it, but it's like Life in Japan or What My Life Is Like or whatever it's called. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
But the person who, Paolo from Japan, I think is what it's called. It follows this guy named Paolo, and he just like interviews and follows like a Japanese person around all day. And so like one of the people he followed one day was like a up and coming manga artist, and one of the like they were going through like his schedule and his day kind of, and it was kind of not the same workflow as like other follow this manga videos I've seen, you know? So like for everyone it's different. For Rumiko Takahashi, hers is like pretty straight line. This is what we're doing. This is how this is how I gotta spend my week. And but she'll spend one day having an initial editorial meeting. One of those meetings takes 3 to 4 hours. She can produce about 6 pages of storyboard in a day, and she starts at 11 p.m. and then finishes work for the day around 6 o'clock the next morning. Later that day, still awake, she has another meeting with her editor and the storyboard progress so far, and that repeats for 3 days until it's done, and then she spends 2.5 days doing the art. Right. So, like, that's a week, you know, with only half of a day left that's not scheduled. Yeah. So she has to, you know, prorate that half of a day throughout. She also
balances in like housework and stuff,
which is like, okay. You know, and all the time, and you know, half the times when you're meeting with your editor, it's at a restaurant or something. You know, it's not like at, you know, sometimes, because a lot of mangaka, they don't want to be like, I don't want people over here. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, like, get the fuck out. Don't come to my house, dude. But you know, a lot of mangaka are like that. You know, they don't want to. They're kind of, they want to stay home and draw. They don't want to. Yeah. You know, they don't want to be out and about farting and pooping and shit. You know, but like, which I kind of get. I am becoming that person right now. She does
take breaks, though. I will say that, like, she'll take breaks in between. I think, where is it? I could have sworn she said that she would take like a nap in between her drawing or whatever, like her storyboarding and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, you gotta sleep, you know. But yeah, like, and I'm not reading anything out of Weekly Shonen Sunday, I don't think, except for, oh no, maybe I am. I don't remember. I'd have to look. But like, you know, that weekly manga, I've always thought that weekly manga is just wild to me. You know, a lot of the manga that I'm reading currently, you know, half the time a new chapter won't come out weekly because like the manga has to take a break for whichever reason, and which makes sense, you know, I understand. Yeah. But especially ones where they're nearing the end. So like My Hero and One Piece. One Piece for one thing, One Piece has been going for over 1,000 chapters. Okay, so Oda is like, I'm not even gonna compare. But like Rumiko Takahashi has been working on multiple manga, some of them overlapping, for 40 some years, right? So, and I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how you're doing this. You know what I mean? And I do realize that she probably does take breaks in between, one story to another, and maybe she's not putting it out every week, but the life of a manga is just wild. And Rumiko Takahashi's schedule, when me and Danny were looking into it, when Danny shared the article with me and some other things with me, I'm just like, how? Like, yeah. You hear about a lot of mangaka and they have problems and health problems, and it just seems like Rumiko Takahashi's not slowing down at all.
She's all like, bitch, I got this. Like,
yeah. Let's really quick, I want to read a few things. Artists that have cited her Takahashi as inspiration have been Canadian comic book creator and mangaka Brian Lee O'Malley, who does Scott Pilgrim.
Nice.
Colleen Coover and her erotic series Small Favors. Chihiro Tamaki and her manga Walking Butterfly. Chinese-Australian creator Queenie Chan. And Wasut Ponamit, who is a creator in he's a mangaka in Thailand. Scottish rock band Urusei Yatsura named themselves after the show Urusei Yatsura.
That's funny.
Creator of the Shantae video games, cited Round My Half as a big influence on his work. Matt Bozen. In 2015, Pulley, an Indian film partially inspired by Inuyasha, was released. With Vijay playing dual roles as a half tiger demon and a powerful tiger demon similar to Inuyasha, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's
and
talk
that's
about.
the thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Gosh, yeah. Well, I mean that's kind of like. I watched a video. I forget which one it was, but they said that Rumiko is such a legend, like, and she got nominated for dozens of awards and stuff like that. And back in 2018, she got inducted into the Eisner Hall of Fame.
That's what I was going to talk about next. Let's talk about some of her honors.
Yeah, and she got nominated for 3 times prior to 2018. So, like, the fact that, not that long ago, like 6 years ago, right? 6 or 5, I can't remember. She just recently got, into the Eisner Hall of Fame. Like, that's insane for all the 50 years that she has been working her ass off, and now she finally gets like recognition. So like that's crazy to me. That's insane.
It is insane. I'm gonna go down the list here. She was the recipient of the Inkpot Award in 1994 at San Diego Comic-Con. Comics Alliance in 2016 listed Takahashi as one of 12 women cartoonists deserving of lifetime achievement recognition, stating that any one of her projects could be the career highlight of another talent. In 2017, she was inducted to the Science Fiction and Fantasy Hall of Fame as part of the 2016 class. Like Danny said, in 2018, she was inducted into the Eisner Hall of Fame, was previously nominated in 2014, 2016, and 2017. In January 2019, she won the Grand Prix de la Ville de Angoulême, becoming the second woman and second manga artist to win the award at the Angoulême International Comics Festival. Angoulême. I don't know how to say French. I don't know how to French.
Not gonna work here anymore anyway.
Not gonna French anymore here anyway. Yeah. In 2020, Takahashi was awarded Japan's medal with purple ribbon. So this is like they're awarded by the Emperor or Prime Minister of Japan. Takahashi was inducted into the Harvey Awards Hall of Fame in October 2021. And then literally this month, she was conferred the Chevalier d'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres by the French government.
Jeez.
So that literally just happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just so you know, the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres, Order of Arts and Letters, Lettres. French people like Rumiko Takahashi. Okay, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
It is the origin is attributed to the Order of Saint Michael, as acknowledged by French government sources. It's basically like the Japanese purple medal is basically what it is, except for French people. Well, basically anyone. So that being said, I mean, that's just, aside from her impact in the West with the ones that at least came over here, which were Ranma, Inuyasha.
Yeah.
And now, Urusei Yatsura, the remake, obviously, I think is getting dubbed. I don't know if the original USA Yatsura anime was dubbed and brought here, and if it was, I think it was just a couple movies and OVAs. I don't think it was the full series.
I do not know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But you know what? I just found it. Sorry.
Oh.
During 1992, the series was licensed for a North American release by Anime Ego. Their VHS release began in October of the same year, and it was among the first anime titles to receive a subtitled North American release. However, the release schedule was erratic. The episodes were also released on Laserdisc in 1993. The first 2 episodes were released in English dub on March 29, 1995, as Those Obnoxious Aliens, which is basically what Urusei Yatsura means. And then, yeah, that's pretty funny. That's hilarious. I am actually going to see if I can go on eBay and find those laser discs because I want them. But anyway, Danny, I need you to tell me. Let's kind of bring it back to our personal experiences. What? Because for me, right? So for me, I didn't know who Rumiko Takahashi was when I was a kid, but the first work I ever read of hers, which I didn't know, was I had a Mice and Ikoku comic book.
Oh,
and
wow.
I just got it because, so like there was this, I don't know if you guys, I might be dating, I'm going to date myself really hard. I know Danny knows what it is, but for our younger listeners who may not know, actually some of our younger audiences may know what it is, but there was this buffet restaurant called Old Country Buffet, and there was one in our local town, and
that might have been a local place where you lived.
Old Country Buffet? Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
You know what? I don't think there were any in the East Coast. I think it was literally just the Midwest and some of the mountain. So like, and I think there was probably a few in the East Coast or West Coast. But yeah, I don't think there was. You're right. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it was literally just the South and the Midwest and the West Coast.
Gotcha.
But anyway, it was called, in some places it might have been called just Country Buffet or New Country Buffet. But like they had different names depending on where it was. So most of them closed down in the mid 2010s, and then the last of them closed down after the pandemic, obviously. But anyway, when I was a kid, there was this Country Buffet, and Danny, if you know the word for this, let me know because I don't know the word for it. But it's like a strip mall, except the stores are inside. So like the doors aren't on the outside and you just walk in like a regular strip mall, right? It's like you walk into this inside part first, and it's like a long hallway in each store, like a regular mall, but one strip.
Oh, I mean, it's just a small dinky little mall.
A mini mall, I guess you would call it.
Yeah,
maybe?
you would say. I would say a mini mall because, like, when I was a kid, there was a mini mall very close by to where I lived, and that's kind of like where I went. Ironically, I actually got lost in a mini mall.
Oh my god, fucking damn it!
I was a kid. I was like 3. Okay.
It's funny.
Yeah, but that mini mall is it doesn't exist anymore. They like closed off. So I know exactly what you mean. Like you just walked in because there were like multiple entrances for it, but it's just like one big strip. Like it's just
and the stores are in the inside of the hallway. They're not like outside, like on a regular strip mall where you just walk to different doors. Yeah. Like, oh, here's the Panda. Here's the front door to the Panda. Here's the front door to the, T-Mobile, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. It was like inside. So like it was a long hallway and each store was, inside the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened to yours sounds like what happened to this one, which is
it closed down and like they like just put up walls in individual areas, and then they just like put, like Babies R Us or like Bath and Body Works, like
some bigger type of
or
strip mall
Bed
store,
Bath and Beyond, like just like these super stores, kind of thing.
Kohl's or something.
Yeah, Kohl's. Yeah.
So that's what happened to this one, but anyway, when I was a kid, what we would do is we'd go to Old Country Buffet or Country Buffet, and then down the hall or down the strip mall ways, there was a comic store. And so me and Sudi, after we were done eating, we want to go around and get Pokemon cards or whatever. at the comic store. And I would always roam the comics, right? And I would, look at X-Men and Superman, Batman, all that stuff, right? And there was always a small section because Viz used to publish chapters by comic book and not a whole tankobon volume. So, like, instead of getting a tankobon volume with, like, 7 chapters or a manga magazine with 1 chapter of each thing each, it was literally just one comic book because that's how Americans and Western people consumed comics, was in a comic book form. And they would flip them around. So they would flip them so you read a left to right, like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they would they would literally just put the image on Photoshop or whatever and, flip horizontally and then put in the talking, translator or whatever. So I picked up a Maisi Nikoku comic book, and I don't remember what issue number it was, but that was the first thing I ever read. And then there was also some Inuyasha ones that I never bought, but they were always there. They always had all the Viz stuff. So they had Pokemon, Electric Tail of Pikachu. They had Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Maisi Nikoku, Inuyasha. There were some other manga ones by CPM, produced by CPM Manga, which I have. I have some of those as well. But yeah, they had Maisi Nikoku, and I grabbed that one. I never grabbed an Inuyasha one, and now I wish I did. But I didn't hear about Inuyasha till it came on Adult Swim later when I was like, 11, 10, 11, 12 years old. But like, anyway, what was your first? I think they had Urusei Yatsura too, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
So my first introduction to Rumiko was Inuyasha.
Sure.
I watched a little bit of it on Adult Swim. I would, 15-year-old me when it came out, finally have like her own space in my basement, and my mom removed the door that would lead to the basement, so like she would keep an eye on me to see if I was like watching TV, and she would just yell down the stairs and be like, Danielle, go to bed. So what I would do is I would just create a blanket fort surrounding my TV, and I would just sit in my little fort just waiting at like, I think 1 o'clock in the morning, waiting for Inuyasha to come on. So
it's funny you say blanket fort, because I'm just thinking of the blanket fort you'd make when you would record to like.
I mean, that's literally how.
Yeah.
That's literally what I did, except like I didn't have the equipment that I have now. Like I fucking used like chairs to create like my little fort and shit. So so I would just like surround blankets around the TV so my mom wouldn't know that I was up so late watching TV. So but yeah, that was like my first introduction to Inuyasha. That was also around the time when I started getting into manga and I wanted to read more and everything. And as a kid, I definitely, I had trouble reading. I'm slightly dyslexic. So reading when I was a kid, it wasn't for me. Like I did not like to read. I had a whole bunch of books, but I never read them. So, and manga actually really encouraged me to read more and stuff. So, and me and my dad, we were just walking around the mall, one of the largest malls in my state that I was living in at the time. They had a bookstore. It was like, I think it was called Borders. Borders shut down now. So it was like the competition of Barnes and Noble. So, and I went in there and there were some Inuyasha volumes, and I'm all like, I've seen this on TV. I didn't know there was a book for it. So I picked up, I want to say I maybe like picked up 2 volumes, and I asked my dad to buy them for me. And so he did. And that's kind of like one of the very first manga that pretty much started my whole collection. So
for sure, it's like I think Inuyasha's like it's like the most right now, right? The most volumes that she's put out for one story. 56. Yep, it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
I just clicked on the page. Sorry, I had to go back. I was on the wrong page. But yeah, 56.
Yeah.
Ranma was 38. Yurusai was 34, and then
Yeah.
Renee was 40, and Mao is currently at 50.
Yeah, I think Mao is probably going to surpass Inuyasha with most volumes if it's at 50 by now.
No, it's at 15.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's at 15. Oh,
15,
okay. I thought you
yeah.
said 50.
Yeah, because she just started a couple years ago. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still not done reading Inuyasha. I have like, I think I have 36 volumes of Inuyasha. So.
Did you? Because you finished the anime, just not the manga, right?
I finished what was out of the like the like 167
Oh, so not
episodes.
You didn't watch Inuyasha.
I didn't
Final
watch the final act.
Sure.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't like all that great. I mean, it was okay, but I just heard that, you know, once Rumiko was done with Inuyasha and they did the final act, they just like they compressed a lot of what she did in the manga versus the sequel and stuff. So I didn't really finish it. So
it's like volume 36 onward, and they compressed a lot into like one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of volumes to be in the amount of episodes. But
yeah, so I was all like, oh, well, I mean, that's silly. I might as well not even watch it then. Like, I'll just continue reading it kind of thing. Yeah. So, and that's kind of where I'm currently at. I'm at now with Inuyasha. Like, again, I'm still not done collecting it. At least the version, because I over the years for Inuyasha, Viz kind of did like the 2-in-1 kind of thing.
Yeah, omnibus.
So now, like, I think a lot of those are out versus what I currently own, which are the single individual volumes. So they're kind of like slightly hard to come by. Either that, I'm just not looking hard enough. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like after a while, Ranma Half started to get like its anniversary, and I actually have season 1 and season 2 of Ranma Half. And so I started watching that, and I'm like, this is hilarious. I want to read it. So I started buying the 2-in-1s of Ranma Half. So, yeah, I love Rumiko Takahashi's stories. Like, her drawings are just so good and everything like that. I even have a couple volumes of Renee. And Renee is just is pretty hilarious. It's I wouldn't say it's a combination between Inuyasha with like the demons and ghosts and stuff, and Ranma Half because of the comedy that's in it. So
freaking also her style is
it's
you
so
know
iconic.
It's her.
It's
you know
so
it's
iconic.
Yeah. It's like you, and nowadays we're seeing more and more manga that where you can kind of tell that's like their thing, right? But back then, you know, the ones that you knew that was them was like, you know, Akira Toriyama and Rumiko Takahashi, you know, Naoki Urasawa, and you know, a few others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Osamu Tezuka, obviously, but like. And nowadays we're getting more where you can tell. Like if I look at their art, I can, you know, like Gege Akutami for example is one I can tell that that's his art. And Shinichi Sakamoto, and the person who does Dan or whatever. Their art is very iconic to me at this point. Yeah. But Rumiko Takahashi though, like, is for me personally, I think for most people. especially you. But like, and Clamp, by the way, I forgot to say Clamp.
Oh,
But
Clamp, for sure.
but yeah,
Like,
but I
yeah.
know for me and you, and for most people, Rumiko Takahashi's like it's as recognizable
The way that
as
she
Akira
just
Toriyama's.
draws, yeah, the way that she just draws all her characters, especially her females, are just. I mean, I don't want to say that she does kind of cut and paste a lot of her, I guess, like playing more like normal characters, like Kagome, for example. You kind of see that character design a little bit in, um, in Ranma, for example. There are some there. I think the main character in Ranma is kind of similar to Kagome. Akane Tendo. She kind of looks a little bit like Kagome, slightly, but not completely. So
Yeah, I should say Oda too. I feel like Oda's style is pretty recognizable.
yeah,
But like,
yeah.
very much like if you read the first chapters of like Dragon Ball, the first chapters of One Piece, and the first chapters of like Urusei Yatsura, and then you read the later chapters, you can see their style developing into what we see now.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, the cover for Yorosei Yatsura, like, you can tell that cover of Yorosei Yatsura was her very, 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 very first work. And you can tell that it's super 70s. Like,
yeah.
Super early. Yeah.
If you read the first like couple chapters, and you can tell it's very reminiscent of like it's got that kind of Ataru kind of looks like Joe from Ashita no Joe a little bit.
Yeah.
It's got some Tezuka and Speed Racer vibes to it.
He was a little bit of inspiration for her for Rumiko.
Oh,
like
sure.
I can't remember where I read it, but she does talk about some legendary artists and everything like that. So that a lot of them inspired her for her work and stuff.
But I mean, just beside that, that was just the style back then. Like, there's a
yeah.
general style how anime looks now,
Mhm.
and there was back then, and that's how she kind of did her work back then, and now it's developed into what we see now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Oda, too, if you read like the first like couple volumes of One Piece, some of it is very reminiscent of like old school Dragon Ball, because Oda loved Dragon Ball when he was younger, right? And now when you look at One Piece, it's definitely its own. You can tell that's Oda's work. That's his style now, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say is this, right? And then this is me trying a little bit to relate, but also I just straight up relate to it. And I want to say this too. Rumiko Takahashi has like, I'm sure I could say this about other mangaka, but right now, since we're talking about Takahashi-san, I just want to say this. People can relate to like the way she creates and tells stories. People can relate to her in many different ways. That's how versatile her work is. That's how versatile her stories are. There's something that Danny does in her life where she can read a Rumiko Takahashi story or read about her life, and Danny is like, I know what that's like. There is this YouTuber that Danny showed me earlier, that linked to me earlier, called Bonsai Pop. Shout out to that video.
Yes, that video is so good.
And here's why, and I'm not big on that many Anitubers, right? And I should be, and I apologize, but I should be more into some Anitubers, but I'm not big on most of them because a lot of them get like really over analytical, over critical. Whereas, and here's why I love Bonsai Pop, and this is the first time I ever had watched a Bonsai Pop video, but here's why I liked that video, because that guy, and excuse me, I'm sorry that I don't know your name, dude, my dude. I'm so sorry I don't remember your name. I watched the video earlier today when I was at work, but he's really cool for a couple reasons. He made his Rumiko Takahashi video personal. He related to her on a personal level, not because he's like a mangaka or a book writer or whatever, but because he's a creative type. Before this, he was in a band. Okay, I related to him on that personal level, and about how you can suck at something first and then get good at it over time, and then have anxiety about booking shows and talking to people and networking and stuff like that. That I related to. So if you ever want to come on this podcast and talk about being in a band, we can talk about it, okay? Jesus Christ. But like, he related to her on like a creative, just a general creative sense. And I like podcasts and anitubers and vloggers who do that stuff, who play a video game, read a book, read a comic, read a manga, watch an anime, or watch a TV show or a movie and say, I know what that's like. I like people who talk about that stuff. You can overanalyze, over-criticize all the Rumiko Takahashi stories you want. I don't give a fuck, because I love Urusei Yatsura. I love Inuyasha. I even love Yashahime. You know, Danny loves Ranma. Danny loves Urusei Yatsura. She doesn't care. We don't care. We don't care about that stuff. I want to know how it made you feel. How did it make you feel when you watched it? If it didn't make you feel anything, you didn't like it, then that's cool. But like, I like that Bonsai Pop video because he spoke about it in a personal level. And for a personal level, for me, seeing her art evolve and seeing how, like, okay, so like, I've told this story many times. I'm not going to tell it again, but like, last night I worked on a piece, and I drew a piece and I showed it to people in the Discord. And one of the first things that some other people said that I showed into other Discords, and Danny said, was like, the fact that you got here in like a couple years is amazing. Like, this piece is really good. And I'm like actually proud of that piece. I like it. You know what I mean? I like it a lot, and I'm going to make prints of it. And if you want to see it again, just tag me when you listen to this episode, just ping me. I'll share it again. But like, I relate to that. Like, working hard. Like, this talent that she has was not inherent. She worked hard. You know what I mean? And it was just like, she just kept doing it. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I love that. I don't know, man. I love that guy on Bonsai Pop related to it on that sense, because it made me kind of relate to her in that sense too. I was like, wow, that's actually a good point. Hell yeah. There's things we do like, I don't know, you know, when Danny was gone for school that one spring a couple years ago, like, I don't know, I'm not trying to like put her business out there, but like, that's the second time Danny went to school. Okay. She's been to school before that. And she thought, you know what? I want to do this, and I'm going to go do it. And she went and fucking did it, dude. And then there's something about Rumiko Takahashi and her journey of getting to where she is now, getting Eisner Hall of Fame inductions and Inkpot Awards at Comic-Con and all that. You know, you could relate to any creator story about, you know, started from the bottom, now we here. But there's something about Rumiko Takahashi, and it's showing in her work and in her stories, that's just really fucking cool. You know what I mean? And Akira Toriyama and Oda, they're still doing Dragon Ball and One Piece, and that's great. The fact that you can do those stories this long is amazing. But Rumiko Takahashi has done that with many stories. You know what I mean? And it's just like, damn. You know? Now, I'm not saying that fucking Fist of Summit's going to be fucking 30 volumes, because it's not. It's going to be like one volume. But that's just for the patrons. I'm just doing that for fun. But after this, I'm like, do I do another one? Do I make another? And if I do, what do I do? You know what I mean? And I don't know, but I'm sure I'm as hell going to be excited when I get there. And like, I'm so happy that Danny shared these links and videos and articles with me, because like, it kind of just makes me hyped to keep going in a way. And I feel kind of
so great. Like,
I feel fired up again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, so I will say we're getting a little personal here, but like,
no, tell me. I want to, like, that's the kind of shit I like. You know, tell me.
That one, so a couple of your illustrations that you shared on Discord and stuff, you know, you are making me really want to draw again. I haven't really been drawing too much because my hand has been bothering me. So
sure.
I have been kind of taking a break from even playing video games too.
Well, because it's also your
I mean,
regular
my
profession too.
Yeah.
Is that you use your hands. Yeah.
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 So, but like, yeah, you are making me really want to draw again. And that's kind of what I definitely really struggled with when I was a kid. I mean, I loved drawing. I mean, I never really did a whole lot of original stuff, because I honestly, I'm not all that great at creating things out of my head. I am good at like recreating things. So if I see a picture, then I can like put my own twist to it a little bit.
Sure.
So, but regardless, like I still love to draw. Like anytime I saw like an anime photo on the internet, I would just print it out and then I would just draw it. I would just draw that picture that I saw, kind of like honing, like trying to kind of practice my drawing skills and like how I guess Japanese artists draw versus like American artists.
That's how I did it. Yeah.
So
that's how I learned when I was a
yeah.
kid anyway. But yeah. Mm.
And then as like I got older, you know, I would have like these kind of images in my head. Like there was this one image that I did. I actually did it in watercolor. So I kind of want to recreate it, but like a digital picture of it.
Yeah.
I did Gyarados and that other kind of like serpent looking Pokemon. And what I did was I kind of like created them to look like a heart in underwater kind of thing. So and like I said, I did that in watercolor.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at watercolor at all. Like it honestly looks like a 12-year-old drew it. And I was like 20 years old when I drew it. So yeah, so like that kind of thing. And so what I did was like I went online and I kind of looked for like pictures of like Gyarados and like in like a curvature position where it kind of looked like he was in like half of a heart, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I tried to like find things that I could I guess use as a reference so that I can draw whatever is in my head. So that's kind of like where my ideas come from. I need a visual reference in order for me to create something.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like I never realized like until just a couple of years ago, like how many mangakas out there just straight up just do that. They'll just get a photo of somebody in a certain pose and use that.
Yeah.
You know, the one I shared last night was, I just did that straight from my memory and then I adjusted accordingly. But like, a lot of the techniques involved that I've been doing in these pieces I've been doing lately, I've been referencing my favorite artists. So,
yeah.
I mean, we all kind of do that, right? Like I think that's the thing too, is that I have to get over, is that more artists do that than not. Yeah. It's actually very common for artists to reference things all the time, whether it's another person's work or somebody's pose or whatever. And if you go on DeviantArt or ArtStation, there are photographers on there who will literally just get in front of their camera and do a random pose and then upload all of them for people to use for free.
Yeah.
You know, for that exact reason. And it's just amazing. But yeah, honestly, Danny, like, I feel like Rumiko Takahashi just brought us closer, and I'm okay with that. And if it makes us keep, like, you know, if it makes us keep wanting to do this podcast and, you know, get you back into drawing and makes me want to make more comics, I am all for that. I feel like Rumiko Takahashi, I mean, I could say this again, I could say this about other mangaka that I love too, but Rumiko Takahashi is just one of those ones that just makes me want to just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
also on the bonsai pop video, shout out to the kitty who just like randomly was drinking water and just like casually like hopped up in the bed and was just chilling. That was so cute.
What a cat. Yeah, I need that. Yeah, if you shout out to that guy on Bonsai Pop, and again,
maybe we can get them on.
Yeah, I was like, dude, come on our podcast, because I know there's a couple guys, right?
I think there are two of them.
It's like two of them. Yeah. If you guys, I don't know if you listen to Anime Summit, but if you guys are listening, you know, me and Danny will send you an email, and if you're listening to this episode right now, just join our Discord and come in here. Links on AnimeSummit.net. Hurry up, Hurry up! But yeah. That being said, I don't know if I have anything else to say other than like
Any final thoughts?
I mean,
what? Okay, here we go. So I know, like, you haven't read a lot of Rumiko's work, but if you had the chance, like, which of her series would you most want to read, like, right now?
Right now? Oh,
Yeah.
because I forgot to say this and you just reminded me, so thank you. Ranma half, and because not only just because I was reading it earlier because I wanted to consume more Takahashi stuff, but also because I've said on this pod before, like, oh man, I want to rewatch that. Me and Danny have said that. We were like, oh man, we should rewatch.
I was rewatching it a little bit before we started recording.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, it's so stinking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, okay, I forgot to mention this, but I just learned that Rumiko's inspiration for Ranma half was Jackie Chan's Drunken Master movie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was that's what like, and Danny told me that earlier, and I was like, I totally forgot about that. I remember reading that somewhere, and I was like, I was reading it when she told me that, and I was like, dude, that makes so much fucking sense, right?
Right?
Because
it makes
the main
so
character's
much
from
sense.
China as well.
Yeah,
I think right because he wants to go back to
China.
China.
No, I think they're originally from, like, Ranma and his dad are from Japan, and they were traveling to China to
they were learning martial arts.
They were doing some intense training and stuff over in China.
Sitting
so
under
like
the
they were
waterfall
there
type
for
shit.
like ever and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and that's what I was gonna say is you guys know I've said on this podcast and I've said on Cinematography many times, kung fu movies are like martial arts movies are some of my favorite types of movies. And yes, I will do like a kung fu cinematography thing. Me and Danny will at some point.
Drunken Master,
once
let's
we get
go.
Past,
Drunken Master.
Once we get past the Brat Pack stuff, we'll do some martial arts.
Drunken Master, here we go.
I'll watch I've seen it like 50 times, but I'll watch it 50 more.
Same, but it never gets
so
old.
Good.
Come on.
But like Ranma half was inspired by. She watched that movie and she was like, okay, like I got to do a martial arts. And you don't see a lot of manga that is centered purely around martial arts that much lately anymore. There was one that started in Shonen Jump and only lasted like 10 chapters before it got axed. That I started and I forgot the name of it now. I gotta find it, but it was really cool. It was basically like about this guy who wanted to become the best martial artist, and it got axed like 10 chapters later, which sucks because like it did give me some Ranma and old Dragon Ball vibes, But yeah, Ranma half is like it's like one of the first things you see is Ranma fighting his dad. They're doing kung fu and like they're just fucking,
Well, I mean, first of all, the first episode of Ranma half is like you see this redheaded girl just fucking fighting a panda.
Yeah.
Like
you don't even know like what's going on.
You have no idea what's going on. You're all like, what the fuck is this? Why is this woman fighting a freaking panda right now? And then, you come to find out like, oh, this panda, this girl is actually a boy and this panda is actually a man. So, and whenever it like rains or like they get wet in like cold water, they do change into like Ranma gender bends and like changes into a female. But in hot water, like he turns back into his normal self and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and I did read that Rumiko, she really wanted to try the gender bending kind of thing. And she really thought that was like hilarious and stuff. And I think someone asked her about like how she came up with the female version of Ranma, because like obviously you can totally tell that Ranma's female counterpart is very much a female. So, and she said that she didn't want to like change too much like of his clothes and stuff. Like obviously when Ranma turns into a girl, he kind of like shrinks down, like he becomes smaller, and like obviously he grows boobs, but like her clothes become more baggier because they're obviously for a man and stuff. So like that is also like you can definitely tell like, okay, Ranma is a girl now, because I know for sure when you're reading Ranma, it's not in color, so you can't tell on whether Ranma's hair is red or black and stuff.
Yeah.
The only time you'll be able to tell what hair color they have is like on, the front cover, because the front cover of all the volumes are in color. So
the body shape is how you had to kind of do it or whatever. Yeah.
So, but she even said, she's like, yeah, I just thought that the whole concept was hilarious and I wanted to create it and stuff. So the fact that she just literally flat out said, yeah, I just wanted to create this because I thought it was funny. Okay, kudos to you, my man. Like, or woman. So, yeah. Like, I love her stuff. Like, I changed my phone screen to Lum, so I definitely wanted to appreciate, Rumiko's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
so that's my final thought. What my question is the same to you then. Like, what's the next work you're gonna consume?
Honestly, like, well, a lot of obviously, I want to finish reading Inuyasha, and of course, I want to finish reading Ranma, and I absolutely want to finish Rinne because I do have volumes of that. I mean, I want to read all of her stuff. I think the most one that I really do want to read is Mason Ikoku.
Yeah.
I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Okay. Only because I feel like it's very different to majority of her work and stuff, and it's a seinen. And she also, and in one of the interviews that I read, someone asked her which of her characters is her favorite, and she said that Kyoko from Meisen no Ikoku is her favorite. And the fact that she made Kyoko a widow in the manga, she felt that it was definitely can be relatable for people, because it's not like a big fantasy. Like Meisen no Ikoku is not a fantasy. It's more
this is
of
it's like an adult drama romance.
Yeah. So I'm pretty intrigued by that story, and I would love to read it. So, and of course, I mean, I definitely want to read her latest work, Mao, because that just looks super interesting. And of course, it's like more yokai and like spiritual stuff,
fantasy stuff.
Yeah. So I kind of am intrigued with that, because it's kind of like in Inuyasha where, one of the main characters goes back in time, but they don't go back to like the Edo period. They actually go back to the 1920s. So like that to me is kind of interesting. Like the fact to go back to a time period where it's not like all katanas and everything like that. Now it's like more kind of like I don't want to say like slightly modern, but it's definitely a time period where Japan was slowly becoming into like a modern society. I mean, they still had like, they were still in their Edo period, kind of, but they were still slowly developing. It's kind of like similar how like the time period that Demon Slayer is set in. Because there's like electricity and like lights everywhere and stuff. So
steam powered things, trains and such.
Yeah. So like I am very interested in reading that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to read all her stuff, quite honestly.
Oh, you know what else I played as a kid? Ranma Hard Battle on Super Nintendo.
So I played the Inuyasha game on PlayStation.
I was gonna say, did anyone play the Inuyasha one? Yeah, A Feudal Fairy Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was fun too because you could do like super moves and shit.
Yeah.
And then you could play. I think you had to unlock him, but like you could play a demon version of Inuyasha.
Oh, sweet.
He's like in rage mode, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that game was fun. I think I have that downstairs. Actually, I'm gonna go double check, but I'm pretty sure I have that, a hard copy of it. If I don't, I'm gonna get it.
She's gonna go on eBay. Look
I'm
out.
gonna go on eBay. There was one on PS2 also that I never got to play, but it was like a fighting game of. It was Inuyasha, but it was like 3D.
I think that's the one that I played. I remember it was on the PlayStation 2.
Oh, okay.
So
because there's
I
the
think that was
PlayStation one and the
that I played.
The PlayStation one is cool because it's like 2D sprites, but like they use some like 3D animation to animate the characters a little bit. But I mean, yeah, dude, maybe I'll play that on stream. If I have that copy downstairs, I'll download the ROM and I'll play it on a stream and we can play. But yeah, anyways, sorry we went over a little bit.
Yeah,
but
we went over a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. But I'm going to. I don't know. I'm caught up on a lot of the manga I'm reading, right? So I guess I could just read Ranma half, right? How many chapters is Ranma?
It's a lot.
Is it? It can't be as many as like.
Come on,
Isn't
any
it like
list?
30 some volumes or something like that?
Where is it?
30 volumes maybe?
Ranma.
It's not as much as Inuyasha, that's for sure.
38 volumes, 407 chapters.
407?
Yeah.
Nah, dude. Nah.
You got this.
You
I got
this.
so much to read. I'm not going to lie. I have a lot to read. I should
right,
not start a new manga.
I'll add it to my plan to read.
You should watch. You should read it. I totally encourage you to read it. For sure. Absolutely.
For sure. All right, dude.
So,
that was our creator spotlight for
anyhow.
Rumiko Takahashi. That was
Yeah,
amazing. There's a little
I'm so
biography and then us geeking out about our favorite stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad we kind of did this. So.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. I think the next one we'll try and consume more of the work, and let us know if about any feedback. Honestly, like, hey, like, maybe next time you guys do this, maybe watch this movie or make sure you watch these. I obviously for every creator it's gonna be different. Like, obviously, if we do a creator spotlight where, all they've done is manga and they don't have any anime of their work out, like, then we could just do that. But like, let us know. And no, Kai, we're not gonna do Precure. Sit down. He's like, do creator spotlight on the people playing Precure. I know you're gonna fart. You're gonna get up. You're gonna get all excited. And you're gonna fart.
Oh man.
When you want to do, Daisuke, the guy who created Guilty Gear, then we can do that. How about that? All right. Jeez. That being said, let us know if you're a Rumiko Takahashi fan or you love Inuyasha or Yurisetsu or Ranma or any of those. Let us know how you feel about that, if you like any of those and what your favorites are. That being said, I love you guys very much. Thanks for listening every week. And I appreciate the support that you give us every week. And I'm excited to keep doing this podcast even more so now. I don't know why, just am. Probably because of everything I said earlier. But I mean, yeah, I love you guys. And I appreciate your continued support. It means a lot to me. And yeah, I've been Som. That's been Danny. That's been Nick. That's been Honey Bear. That's been Wrigley. Danny's mom's new puppy, Wrigley, dude. Oh my god.
He was over today.
And that's been the Anime Summit podcast. I was legit gonna sit here and name everyone's animals on Discord.
Oh my
no,
God.
I'm not gonna do that again because I'm gonna forget one and someone's gonna get mad. I'll limit it to just the host and Nick.
All the animals.
All the animals, dude. Oh man.